So I like Ben Carson's idea about health savings accounts. I haven't read too much into it. I did like Ben Car. I do like Ben Carson. I just don't think he really wants to be president. I think that if he did, he'd be doing a better job at it and better job at the race. And I just don't think that he wants it. I don't know if it's about book sales. I don't know what's it about. Maybe he wants to run next election cycle. Maybe he just wants to be vice president or something. I don't get it, but I like the guy. I wish that he was doing a better job. I wish he was getting a better shot. I do like the idea of a healthcare savings account. I would change it though. I would do something different. Now, look, I'm not a financial professional. I'm not a healthcare professional. I'm not a government professional. I'm not a professional at anything really. My profession is marketing and being a decent person, being a decent American, believing in rights. I do well at my job. I do well for myself, and that's why I think I have I'm an average American, and I think that I've been living the American dream, and I have the right to talk about things like this. So my idea is healthcare savings accounts, but modified to be retirement savings accounts too. I think that every American deserves the opportunity to excel, not just excel, but to leave something to the children too. The opportunity. So not every American just deserves it, but deserves the opportunity to it. So I've come up with a plan that it wouldn't be perfect. Nothing's perfect, okay? But these healthcare savings accounts that I'm talking about would allow people that are generally not well off, but want to get there. It would help them become well off and it would help them build generations of growth, okay? So the way this would work in theory, and of course it would need fine tuning, would be just like Ben Carson said, when you're born, you get a Social Security number, birth certificate, and a health savings account. So you would. The health savings account would be invested to be invested money. So the way that it would work essentially is that each year the federal government would put a certain amount of income in that health savings account. Now, as a child, you'd be covered. So let's say, for example, you find out when your child is born that your child has cancer. Okay, well, that's pretty unavoidable, and you're obviously not going to have the money to pay for that with your health savings account, so your child's health savings account. So that would be something, for example, that would be covered, would be, kind of forced benefit from the government. Okay. A taxpayer would have, because that's not right neither. I mean, if you have a kid, the kid, and I think kids are covered anyways, but kids should be covered under some sort of Medicare, Medicaid, or something. So the way that it would work, though, is that you build each year, the federal government would put a certain amount, not a large amount, but a certain amount of money into your health savings account, money that they normally be spending on health care anyways. They put that into the health savings account, and it would build up every year. Obviously, when you're younger, you need less healthcare. Kind of is expensive when you're a kid, not too expensive, but expensive, and then it dwindles down from there, and then it goes back up as you get older. So as you get older, you start to build this wealth from the federal government. Now, each year, your parents' taxes goes, instead of them getting a tax return, it goes is split between their health savings accounts and your health savings accounts. So let's say, for example, I get $10,000 back from the federal government at the end of the year. Then it would be cut, and I'd get back $4,000 instead, and $2,000 would go to my kids and my wife and I. So it would gain over time. Okay. The other thing is each week, instead of me paying out to Social Security, I would pay into my health savings account. So when you're of working age and you start working and paying towards Social Security would now be no more. There'd be no need for it. You'd pay that Social Security directly back to yourself in the form of your health savings account, which is also a retirement account. That would gain over time, because again, it's being invested. Okay, it's being invested how you want it, or how the people around you want it. So if I want to invest in the S&P 500, then great. However you want to invest that money, it's being invested in the stock market, so on and so forth. That would be up to you. And you can choose not to invest it too and just save it. Each birthday, let's say, for example, that my daughter just turned 1. Okay, well, what's a 1-year-old going to do with a bunch of toys? I mean, we have toys for my other daughter that she plays with, and she plays with them for a day, and then she forgets them, and she never wants to touch them again. So what happened was I started a bank account for her, and I had my family members kind of put into this bank account and give savings bonds and so on and so forth. What I would propose is that they can do this with this health savings account. Of course, they can open a bank account if they want to. They can do whatever they want. But let's say, for example, that it was my daughter's first birthday or 15th birthday, and people were saying, well, what does she want for her birthday? And I could say, well, why don't you just throw $50 in her health savings account or her retirement account? And they would do that, and it would go directly into her account. So now you're building wealth over time. You're building wealth. The federal government's giving you a small amount of money each year. Your parents are giving you money with their tax returns each year. When you get to working age, and here's the thing too, if you go through school, okay, public and private, as each year you get a small bonus in your health savings account as incentive, in retirement account as incentive to get through the year, and it goes up as you go through school. So year one, meaning year one would really start, between kindergarten and second grade, we'd figure it out. You get $50, then it goes to 100, then 150, then and each year you get a certain amount of money just put into that for completing the course. If you average a B or more in class. And again, that's not perfect. Okay? I know it would be difficult to track and whatnot, and you teach them, maybe just give every kid it, maybe you give the kids that pass it, whatever. We can figure it out. Maybe you eliminate it. I don't know. But each year, if that was a possibility, then in school you'd gain that. Okay. Once you become of working age, so once you start to work, your taxes from each year, your tax returns, a portion of that goes directly into your health savings account. Okay, so now not only are your parents paying towards your health savings account, but you are too through your taxes. Your Social Security, instead of paying towards Social Security, you would pay that the same amount, but it would go directly back to you in your health savings account. You can't touch this account. You can't touch it unless for medical expenses until you turn 65 years old, and I'll get that in a second. Okay. Let's say, for example, that I become working age and my employer offers I'm working full time. I'm paying my Social Security into this account. I'm paying my tax return to this account. And my employer offers health insurance. Well, instead of offering health insurance, they would offer me money in my health savings account. So let's say, for example, that the health insurance costs $100 per week and my employer pays 50% of that, or $400 per month. They pay 50% of it. Well, $200 a month would go directly into my health savings account, and I would pay the other $200 per month into my health savings account. Let's say, for example, my health savings, my health account costs $1,000. It's a real good health plan, so on and so forth. Well, then they would pay $500, and I would pay $500, just like it works nowadays. That's how it works today. So that would be building up my wealth. Okay. Gifts, presents can go into this health savings account. Okay. The bottom line is that this is building rapidly as I go through. I turned 65 years old. This has been invested over time. Okay. And if you do the math on it, by the way, too, your average, upper middle class family, okay, in America, at the end of when you turn 65, you probably have about $2 million in that account had you not had to use a ton of it and you just had to pay for co-pays and stuff like that. Okay. So let's say that I turn 65 and I have my $2 million health savings account, and I can do what I want. Now I can do whatever I want to do with it. If you want to go buy a $2 million house, fine, you go buy a $2 million house. But if you get cancer, then you're screwed. If you want to go on a trip, if you want to blow it all on drugs, I don't care what you do with it, but I would suggest not doing it on drugs. But it's up to you. Now, let's say, for example, that I, just want to die in peace. I'm 65. I find out that I have terminal cancer and that I can only prolong my life for a certain amount of time, whatever, and I want to give that money to my children. Then I can do that. It would get taxed. It would get taxed a little bit of a higher rate, but I can leave that money to my children. So let's say, for example, that I had $2 million saved up in my health savings account, and I had 2 children. Then each one of those children would get $800,000, and the government would get $400,000 back. Okay, so it'd be a little bit difficult and stuff like that, but it would be taxed. Then my children are faced with the opportunity. So then, let's say my children get decent jobs or high-paying jobs, and they turn 65 and they have, because inflation, $2.5 million in their account plus the $800,000 they got from us that has been gaining. So now instead of having $2 million in their account, they have $6 million in their account because it's been gaining the entire time. They turn around and do the same thing that I did, and they give it to their kids. Okay, then they have $12 million in their account. Okay, this is to be a great way to gain wealth. And again, maybe it's just a theory. Maybe I'm totally wrong on something, but I think that it'd be a healthy alternative. And even if it's not a healthy alternative, too, think about this. Even if not a healthy alternative, maybe it would be a good idea for retirement. Eliminate the fact of, or the idea of health savings accounts completely. Eliminate that thought if it doesn't work, and just do that for retirement. Just take part of that tax return and put it in for retirement. Just take that Social Security, put it in this account for retirement. Let it build wealth. It's kind of like a 401k, okay, but a government-run 401k. They probably wouldn't work. Maybe we should do this through private companies. The point is that we have a huge problem in America today, and we're solving it by throwing free money and free stuff at people, and it's just not okay. I propose that we give people a little bit of responsibility and we give people a little bit of independence. We should not just, have government-run subsidy programs where we're giving away people's money that have worked hard for it. We need to figure out a system where we're helping people gain wealth and helping people make the right decisions, but B, also giving them a little bit of responsibility too. I think this would be a fantastic way to start off the new year. I'd love to see a bill with some sort of this in it. And I honestly, maybe soon I'll be the one that be able to pass that bill because I'm going to be the Democrat, District 15 in Pennsylvania. So for the Senate race. So like, share, dislike, comment. I would love to hear some comments, and I would love to hear from healthcare professionals, and I would love to hear from financial planners to see what they think about something like this and what they would do to adapt this plan. Thank you very much.